Hi everyone, it's me, Roberta Eldridge. I was just going to work on this Hearts ATC that I had used the gesso to create the hearts on earlier today. I was just going to play around and see what I come up with. I have some soft pastels from Lowe and Cornell. I've not used them before, they're brand new. I just wanted to play around with them, see what I can get. This is paper towel with gesso and pastels, so the texture is interesting. And the turquoise. I think I used the brighter one. So I don't know how you're really supposed to use these. But I'm just playing around. I'm going to get the water brush and see what we can do with that. And it's finally drying up. It barely has any water left in it at this point, so I'm going to go ahead and add some water on my mat. It seems like it's dripping, so I got some water before I even tried to. I'm just going to wet this just to see how it's going to react. It has a powdery surface on it right now. It dissolves nicely in the water. I'm just wetting on the pastel with the brush just to pick up some more color. It kind of moves around instead of staying because it's on the gesso, which of course acts like a can't even think of the word now, a resist. And so instead of staying in the place I want, it kind of moves around. So I'm washing it out, and now I'm just going to go to the blue one. And there's little loose bits of it, the powder of it floating around on the outside. So there's no wax or anything, it's just dry. It's not like the Tim Holtz crayons or gelatos or any of that stuff. It's got a nice creamy texture that you can control a little bit more. Being as it's dry pigment, I guess it would be more like a brusho as far as the powdery content of it. Now see, I'm trying to lay more down and it's actually just moving it. And get rid of some of the water, that might help. I'm going to wash it out so I can go to the pink. I was going to try to make a Valentine ATC. I don't do much with Valentines or cards or anything, and my mom's birthday's coming up, but she's not really into this kind of stuff, so I won't make this for her. I'm just going to post it and maybe do it in the group for trade or something. I did just finish earlier today the other Bubbles ATC for Marimay's Creative Cafe group, and one of the prompts is B for Bubbles, and I did my second Bubbles. This first one had bubbles and a fish, and then this one had a frog. I did a frog with this one with the bubbles. Okay, I'll wash that out. And I'm going to get some stencils. I'm going to dry this first, and then I'm going to pull out some stencils and do some stenciling over it. It's blowing away all the loose bits of pastel. And I don't think the heat is going to set it. I think it's just going to dry it. I'm sure if I did something else with water, it would reactivate and it would start moving around and blending. So now I want to do something with some stencils. A lot of different stencil things that I like to use. My favorites are my Punchinella stencils that I've made, and I have, this large roll of Punchinella, and what I've done is taken a length of it and just cut it into two pieces. And you put them over each other, and then you kind of shift them. You get different patterns. Like this way, you get flowers, which I have this one that I've done. Right here. And if you do it where it's just a little bit offset, on this one, you put the place here where the three circles come together, and put this piece here over the center of the one below, then you get these really pretty little flowers. And that would be this one here. And this is probably going to be the one I'm going to use. But what I do is cut the edge so it's nice and even, and then I get painter's tape and even washi tape. The first ones I did, I used washi tape. These are my really old ones, my first ones I made. But if you cut this piece to make it even with the other piece, and then tape the ends off, then it'll stay in and these little ends won't get caught on different things. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and do some stenciling with this one, and I want to pick up this orange, but I also want to use lime green because I think lime green really goes pretty with this color theme. And this one is called Lime Tree. And I pick it up with the sponge. If it's got a blob of ink on it, the ink is going to go through the stencil and bleed out of the hole under another area, which is going to make it not pretty. And so what you want to do is you want to pick up some of it and then tap it in so it goes inside of the sponge. And then this one's got some little dry pieces we don't want. I'll get rid of those. Okay. And I'm not going over the whole thing. I'm just doing a little here, a little there. And you pick it up and you look at it and you see how it looks, and then you move on to another area. Okay. And I think I might even want to pick up another color, maybe some yellow, I'm not sure. I want to put this extra ink in my excess paint book real quick. You can tap this in some water to rehydrate and get some more ink out for putting in the excess paint book. But I don't have time for that right now, so we'll just do that. Pull this back over. I want to pull out the turquoise, but I want to use some metallic. I have it on here, so I'm just going to blend it into the sponge. And just randomly go in different places and add it in. It looks like I'm going to need to pick up some more. This color is called Peacock Pearl. And I just love these metallic colors. They're so beautiful. I just want to make sure I don't have a blob because it won't be pretty on there if I do. Okay, that's only 2 areas with this color, so I need to put it in another spot. Put it up over here. Okay. And again, I have this extra, so I want to put it in here. And when you do stenciling and adding more ink in these little books on these excess paint pages, even though it doesn't look like anything right now, by the time it's finished, it'll be a really pretty piece of paper to do some collaging or die cutting or whatever with. Okay. Let's see if I can, I want to make this color, but I want to make it pearlescent. So to do that, I have to take the original color, which is called Tropic Orange. It's actually more of a pastel orange. I just need a little bit of it. And then use some of the glitter. Or maybe I should use the silver. Yeah, I think I'll go this way. It's called White Pearl. It looks like it's silver, but it's actually white pearl. This one has to be shook up a little bit more. Now these kinds actually separate, and you get, I guess it's an adhesive. It looks like oil, and if it's not mixed up, it messes up your paint, so you have to make sure you shake it up really good. I want to blend these two colors together really well. Okay. There's some of that color there. And one more spot. Alrighty. And then I need to add, I guess we should do the metallic purple. I was thinking of adding some yellow, but we'll go with the purple. And I can add the purple in this color because this color's not very dark at all. So let me get these out. And there's berry, and then there's amethyst. And I'm thinking I want to go with berry. It's a little bit different. It's not actually that color, but we'll see what it looks like. It looks more like a grape jelly, but it's a really pretty color. Okay. The rest of this I'm going to just go ahead and put it back in. Just pick it up with my finger. There's not enough of the color below it to really make a difference if I get a little bit in there, so I don't worry about it. Excess paint, a little bit of water. always try to make sure I go off the edge of the paper and all the way from the top to the bottoms to the sides. And I don't look for any particular shape that I try to get. I just try to get the ink out of here. Already this has yellow and blue and this metallic berry. Not really colors you would think to put together, but it actually is pretty together. And back into the water. I need a different stencil, so I'm going to go with this. There's the drywall tape, the big roll that I have, and let's see if I can find the end of this puppy here. It's sticky on one side, not on the other, but you could cut it into pieces and put it on something, go over it with gesso, modeling paste, whatever. But I like to stencil with it. This is the first piece I've used, and you can see the holes in the center where I use it are getting filled in with the paint, which is interesting because you get a different shape than you would if you get the brand new with the bigger squares. And this is part of a lemon bag. It has plastic on one side, which really doesn't matter, but I use the side where these lines are at, and I use that to pick up some ink and stamp. And then there's two different lemon bags that I like to use. This piece of lemon bag here is, it's got the lines going up and down in a straight line, but the ones that are going off to the side are off a little bit, and so it gives you like triangles and half triangles and more geometric different shape patterns than just only the squares that are with the other lemon bag, which, well, not squares, this one is rectangular in shape. This is from lemon bags I was buying earlier, and they've changed the bags to this. But each of these is a different stencil, give you a different effect. So the one I want to use, this one I want to use for ink, and I want to pick up purple. And this is more of a berry color like the ink I use. And all I do with this, I just dip it in the ink, and you see you get little tiny dots on the lines. And then I just, it's like putting little hatch marks on here. It's basically all it's doing. Okay, that's good for that. It's interesting because there's a lot of things that you just really don't think about that would give you a certain look in your crafting. So I just try to make sure that I try everything that I see. That way I have a large repertoire of different things that I can use for stenciling and crafting. Okay, now I want to use this one. And I'm just trying to figure out what color I want to use. I think I will go ahead and go with a bright yellow. I'm just going with a theme where I have a lot of bright colors here, so. And another sponge. And I just use the sponges and wash them out in water. I soak them in a cup while I'm here working, and then when I'm done at the end of the day, I just go to the sink and wash them all out. Need some more because the holes are kind of small, so you don't really see too much. Okay. There we go. A little bit over here. I love this color over this pink. Make it a really pretty orange color. Alrighty. Put the rest of this yellow away. And from what I wanted to do when I started this, it's totally changed what I want to do. The pastels were not this really pretty, bright and vibrant color like I was hoping, and so I just wanted to play around. So now what I'm going to do is do a complete stencil over it just to give it a totally different look. And I want a stencil that's not going to cover it this much, because I do want some of it to show, maybe about this much. So I'm going to use this stencil, trying to find what's the front and what's the back, and this is the part to lay down, and this is the part. And then, decide if you want it going one way or the other. I think I'll do it this direction this time. Okay. And then I'm going to use a dark color to go over most of it with this. And for this, because it would definitely bleed out, I have to make sure that the ink is in, or the paint is really inside of here really good, so it's not bleeding out. And that'll probably mean I'll have to go over each section a number of times just to get good coverage. Unless I choose to do it where it doesn't have a thick cover, but I do want to cover it most of the way, so. So even if I just did that little bit, it would be pretty. I'm starting to get a headache. I get migraines all the time. I don't know why I'm getting one right now. It may be from the light from the shop light that I'm using. I have really sensitive eyes, and if I'm out in the sun too much, I can get a migraine. If I don't eat, I get a migraine. I don't know why it turned off. Went ahead and turned it back on. I think it has a thing where it shuts itself off automatically after so many minutes. And normally when I'm doing a YouTube video, I end up turning it off every, 5 minutes or whatever. Okay. I think this is about as evenly covered over the whole thing. And the brightest places are where that gesso was. You can see the blue heart, the pink heart, and barely see that little purple heart, but that's only because it was really small. Okay, and this is the end product. Well, the end for right now. There's obviously I gotta finish up and do more on the borders of it, or however else I might want to finish it off. I'm gonna dry it. Okay. It's all nice and hot right now. Wait for it to finish drying. Let's see this right here. That's where it bled through too much. It doesn't have that nice crisp line like it has right through here. And that's happens sometimes if you overload or if you push too hard with the sponge. It makes the ink go under the stencil. Okay. It's not the jelly roll. Let me get that one. Here it is. This is a cheap one from a 99-cent store that somebody had bought me in. And it does not work the same. Love the jelly roll much better. I also want to use a Sharpie. See if I can find the heart. And yeah, it was this way. I was just trying to see if I want to outline the heart. I'm not sure if I do. I could just do it freehand. It would probably be better. Let me do the other part first. I'm going to outline the edge of this. And give it a border. Paper towels are really interesting to work with, the texture and the way it absorbs or even bleeds with your inks from pens or paint, markers. It's really interesting. You want to be able to control it so it looks the way you plan on doing it, but then it has a mind of its own, does its own thing, and changes the line where you're doing it. Okay. Make the line just a bit thicker in some places. It almost feels in some places like this paper towel starting to come up. even with all the coating of all the stuff that it has on it. Something was tacky on there, I don't know what that was. Okay. Let's see how well this black one is going to work. I need to get me some more Sharpies. This is something I always struggle with, is to make sure the Sharpie is still working. A lot of times it gets gunked up, even though I try to make sure that the paint or ink is dry. With the black, I'm going to do every other one, only because I don't really know how long it's actually going to work for me, that I can get some done. And I want to do them in sets together like this. Now I'm going to do every other one in the white jelly roll. When you know, I don't have a project that has to be done a certain way, and I can just play around like this. It's very relaxing. I'm not worried about it turning out or looking a certain way. I don't have to gift it to somebody or do it for a swap. So there's no pressure, you know, performance. There's no anxiety about it. It's just fun. It's just, it's like experimenting, learning how your materials work together, learning about new colors and how they work together, because I don't know anything about that other than just trial and experimenting. Like, this does not want to write over the, it looks like it's the metallic paint. Looks like that's where this is not wanting to do the writing. I mean, it feels like it's writing on plastic in this one particular area. I totally messed that up. I did this one here. So that just means I'm going to try to do all of them then, which is fine. I like a lot of the color combinations that I see on here. Like the yellow and the white and the green, very citrusy. And the pink and the orange with the berry purple color, that metallic. Those colors are really pretty together. You just kind of store that knowledge in your head for the next time you do a project and you're trying to figure out what colors you want to put together. You can always go back and remember, you know, those colors that I used together on that one project, that turned out really nice. And the green and the orange here are very citrusy looking together here too. It is, I don't even know what time it is right now. I think it's close to 11 o'clock. I'll be finishing up with this and heading off to bed. And if I decide to do this as a YouTube, I'll end up loading it up overnight, upload it. I tried to add music to one of the YouTubes that I did yesterday, and I cannot figure out for the life of me yet. I will figure it out, but not yet. I haven't. How to add music to the whole thing. It would only allow me to add one piece of music. You know, like when you add your video clips together, you click on the box and you can, you know, put a new video piece in there. But it doesn't do that for the music. Oh, I see one I didn't get. Let me get this one here in the center. Okay, now for the jelly roll. Not sure. It's not the jelly roll, that's why it's not working. Need to put that puppy away. Get the jelly roll out, that one will work. Much better. Brighter white, crisper color. Okay, so if I do that, you have to change your pattern. Just to make it interesting. Trying to do something different always gets me in trouble, because now I'd have to remember how to do that on another one. And let's see, what shape? Just squiggle line. And then I guess I'll just repeat it on the other side. Here we go. This is that one. There we go. It's kind of like the stuff you did when you're a little kid. Just be doodling. Circles are getting smaller than the ones I did originally. I have to remember to be consistent. over on this side are much smaller. Alright, that's better. I did the circles here. Did the squiggly lines here. And next would be this. I don't know what you call that design. Other than fun. Definitely fun to do this one. And then that challenging one. 3 lines. And then some boxes. Okay, on this side. Which means this one is going to be the lines. I gotta make sure I don't touch that because I don't want to smear the jelly pen with the ink. And I was trying to figure out which one will come next in sequence. I can't figure it out because I'm tired. Alrighty. So if I have this one, the next one would be the squiggly lines. That means it would be this one here. I'm going to turn it around so I can get it in right. My mom's birthday is on February the 13th, day before Valentine's. She's not big on getting gifts and stuff, so I totally did that on the wrong line. It's supposed to be on the bottom. Have to go over that and fix it. And then it'll be these lines. And then the dots. Okay. I think I'm going to go the outlines a little bit bigger with the bigger Sharpie. As which I think probably it would have been better if I left it with the small. But you don't know until you try something. I just wanted to do it with the darker lines because it'll make it more prominent, stand out, more bold, which is what I wanted. Instead of using the blue, I was actually going to use the black paint, but I didn't want to default to using what I would have normally done for that. See right here, it's bleeding into the paper towel in a couple of places. Black is really pretty up against the hot pink orange colors. This black is really pretty up against all colors because it just accentuates them. Almost done. There we go. Last one. Yeah, I like it better with the thicker lines because it just pops a little more. Can add some little accents around the border just to give a little other punch. I'm going to try to match up where these are at. This one here is going dark. 1, 2, 3. Squiggle lines in between. Okay. And all sides don't have to be the same. Then the last thing I want to do is take some paint and splatter. Actually, not this color. A hot pink color would be pretty, I think. I just have this box that I use to do my splattering in. I'm going to set it in. Get some paint. Put some water. brush. And splatter. Which is coming all back out on me. It's kind of watered down more than I want. Let's try this again. Try to get a little bit more solid actual paint. It is just not doing what I want it to. I'm not sure where the paint is going, but it does not seem to be going on my project. Alrighty. I should have left well enough alone. This is what it looks like now. I envisioned it looking different, but this I think is from the wet earth of the pink paint. And I'm just going to dab it up. Let's see if I can get it to go on this way. Not so much that way either. I mean, it's on there and it's really, really small, and I was wanting some bigger ones, but that'll do for now. Hope you guys had fun. Have a good evening. Thank you.